the Game Awards episode. Today we'll be giving our insights and votes on this year's Game Awards from Game of the Year, narrative, audio, art direction, and so forth, and all our insights on the matter.
Just gonna get this out here, talk a little bit about why we pick what we pick, maybe a little bit about the other selections if we feel like they maybe shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see which ones we'll skip through or not. But I want to say I've played a majority of the games. The only one I'm mad that I haven't played yet is Alan Wake 2. But
oh yeah, you missing out, buddy.
I know, it's crazy too. Okay, we're gonna hop straight into it. Game of the Year, category 1. But as we get into it, yes, Alan Wake, bro. I literally just played Alan Wake, the original, the first Alan Wake, like last month.
That came out?
Yes, last month for the first time, because like I never had the original when we were younger. And that game was, I was like, I love that game. Besides collecting the fucking thermos for no reason, I'm like, I was so mad because I was looking it up. I was like, are the thermoses for anything? And it's like, no. Why? Why are you doing this for me? It's just completely unnecessary. Like I was like, I don't get a costume, a secret, something. This is crazy. I was like, yeah, no. And every time I saw one, I was so upset. No. And I was so upset every time I saw one because I had to still pick it up because my fucking gamer brain is like, oh, shiny collectible. I can't leave it, but I know it's for nothing. But love the game, absolutely. The story is crazy. Obviously writing in and out. And from what I've seen from the trailers and all the gameplay that I've seen for it, it looks amazing for one. Remedy Entertainment and Epic Games did crazy. It looks just as trippy. And what I love and why I know I have to play it is because I love that they've intertwined with the Control universe. I absolutely loved Control the first time. Obviously the first time I ever played it. That game is so fucking gorgeous. It's literally like playing a fucking movie. It's insane, and just the style of it and everything was just so good. It's amazing. And so let's see that they're intertwining like the actual mechanics of that world into this. Like the fucking they're in this game for what I've seen. Like the company that you're infiltrating with
what was
Control.
it called? RDF?
Yes,
something?
the RDF or something like that.
I forget what that organization was called, but yeah, they were technically in the first one. Or should I say in Alan Wake? But that game really just did so much for the universe. Like if you only played Alan Wake, which before Control came out, I didn't even know it was connected until I read something that I picked up for once, and then I was like, wait a minute. But
no, there's literally shit in, like, I think you can find the typewriter in as a secret in Control. And the shit, and there's a whole overlay
letters that talk about pretty much every other other events, and then there are a few that talk about the specific events that happened on the lake.
Yep, you do. Yes, yep.
There's some stuff, and even when you play Alan Wake 2, it gets even crazier. Like from what you learn from Control about what these events are and what causes them, and how they talk about these events. You see, there's some things they say in the second one. It's just like, what? It just changes everything. It's so wild. It's actually really just good the way they do the story. I was happy I gained more happiness as I played Control. Like initially I was like, don't be in this, don't be like a connected universe thing, bro. But they played it off so well. The moment you hit that Alan Wake DLC for Control, you're just like, they did this so well. Seamless connections here, man.
They made it make so much sense that it's hard to even refute. It's like, okay, yeah, well, fuck, if this is just going to be one of those things in this universe. And Alan Wake,
it's just all the questions in the background. It's just like, so who's real? Like, is he writing all these characters? Were these characters already a thing? Like, is he manipulating? Like, is he himself an event at this point?
That's exactly what I was going through while I was playing Alan Wake 1, because I had played, obviously, Control before it. And so the whole time I asked questions like, bruh, if he is like one of these events from Control, is it the typewriter? Is it the lake that's actually causing it? Is it him? Because this thing is a whole, like, reality warper, nigga. He does like he could literally make scenarios and like he either knows the future or writes the future, makes characters in and like makes it so like they have to be where they're going to be regardless of how they're going to be, even if they know the that it's going to happen. It's like if it's written, it's happening essentially, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
This man has written himself in and out of reality. Like what?
It's so good. But let's get this going. We can talk about this stuff forever.
Facts.
So
Okay.
should we just start off with the biggest one? Just go straight to game of the year.
Yeah, we're just gonna start at number one. We're just gonna go straight to the categories.
Good, because for me personally, I don't even have much to say about this one, bro. You already know what it is.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate. Yeah. It's that.
Like, don't get me wrong. Alan Wake 2 is a great game, but in my opinion, I don't even know why this is in the running for game of the year. It came out like what?
A few weeks ago.
It feels like 4 weeks before this happened. But 10 out of 10 is somehow still got an ability to get into the running.
Uh-huh.
I'm still gonna give it to BG3.
Yeah.
Just at this point for replayability, I could replay Alan Wake, but it would be for the probably to sit down and read every single thing, so I can digest all of his lore and then go online and chit chat and watch stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But other than that, BG3, all of his replayability is in the game. Not only when it comes down to the classes you pick, but the spells that you use, to the way that you fight,
the people that you pick up, the companions you decide
you bring with you,
yeah.
companion stories you decide to do or decide not to do, the endings that you choose. Like there's the replayability, the personal role playing that you can do in it. It just goes above and beyond.
Oh,
so for me, that's game of the year.
Oh, 1,000%.
Your game next year.
Yeah, Alan Wake, if they would have waited a few more months, they would have been all right. But possible. We'll see what comes out next year too, because it's been hot this year, honestly. But yeah, no, I gotta give it to Baldur's Gate 3 as well. Like I've spent so many hours in that game, and like there was a lot of really good games that came out this year. And so to see, I mean, on the list, I played Tears of the Kingdom as well. That game was amazing. The mechanics and everything in that were definitely like some game changers.
That's a close second.
1,000%. Like just the technical. I mean, especially since it's on the Switch and the technical prowess of that. For them to do what they did with that game, and after playing, because I'd played the original, the first game as well, and like they really just expanded on that so well. It doesn't feel like it feels so expansive and shit. Like it got to a point where I was like, yeah, I'm not exploring this entire map. There's no way. And like just the number of shrines and everything. I was like, Jesus Christ, y'all put your foot in this shit. And like it's not like every shrine you go to is like some little bullshit. Like no, like they put there's some puzzles in there. It's like okay, yeah, all these bitches are real puzzles. In both cases.
Like, Grandma, how you make this?
This is crazy.
I put my foot in it.
They really try to get to, bro. Literally, they like the mechanics alone of that game was definitely had me tutor into that being game of the year. Spider-Man 2 is amazing as well. It's expanded on the world enough, and like the abilities and powers and story is pretty good. But like you said, it really comes down to replayability and the role-playing aspect of Baldur's Gate in general. It just really makes it the game of the year, regardless of like what genre and whatnot you like to play or whatnot. I mean, if you don't like the top-down, turn-based combat, then this might not be your
Zoom
pick.
in, then, boy.
But still, like,
zoom in.
Yeah, but like that shit is. Yeah, no, the characters, everything, the voice acting, the animation, the look of the game, just everything all together, like
environment.
Oh my god, and like you said, the biggest thing comes down to replayability. I could play this game for like.
We can even hit this because I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna have to hit it later, but I can just do like a quick synopsis. But for me, just the simple fact, like Marvel Spider-Man 2 is on here, yeah. The Legend of Zelda is on here, yeah, but for me, this is just my own personal take. I tend to rarely ever pick sequels when it comes down to Game of the Year. They have to be really good. They tend to have to be really good, especially if I really enjoyed and the last game was a running for Game of the Year, then this one has to do something pretty immaculate. I think what Zelda did, just with its ability for you to literally create whatever tool you want in the game, is crazy. I think that just blows
No,
games
the
out
fact
of
that you can do literally anything, like the puzzles and like the traversal and everything, bro. Like I saw some of the most crazy things online, of like people's builds and whatnot, of like building whole freaking mechs and shit. They really let you like go crazy with like the freedom to play like and do whatever you want to do. Because like there were so many puzzles where I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Fucking put a fucking rocket on my sword or shield or something and just like throw myself up, or make a fucking airplane and like, yeah, I'm just gonna fly over that because what the fuck, I look like building a bridge. So yeah, it was such a good game, and like I said, the story is also there. Like I didn't feel at any point in that game do I feel like bored traversing and like going around, even doing like side quests. I was doing like all the side quests to like get the different shrines and shit. I'm like, yo, no, this makes me want to like explore the world and whatnot. Same with Baldur's Gate. Like I said, it expanded so well on the other game, because like there are a lot of games you pretty much get the map and then you get like a little, like maybe like double it. They I don't know if they tripled it. That's just insane. They've got the whole like extended the overworld, where you have the actual land ground, then you have the sky ground where it also has floating islands in between that, and then you also have the fucking underground, which is a whole explorable area. It's insane, and it's on the Switch of all fucking things. It's crazy, and it's
have no excuse
crazy because you can literally jump from the fucking the stratosphere essentially and jump down all the way past the ground into the underground, and the fucking underground has a sky. Like, it's insane. And like you can do all that in one fellow swoop, like literally jump into a tower. Like, I was chasing the fucking dragons that were flying through these crevices and shit just to get, like, legendary. It's crazy, like, the expansiveness of that game. It's like, and it's like, for, like, to have, like, essentially no load screens or whatnot, aside of you going into, like, into shrines and shit, the actual overworld is, like, pretty much fully interactable with at any time. Mm-hmm. So the dragons are on like a set schedule that aren't even like set to like your actual time. It's just like based on the game time. It's wild. Like I said, the technical prowess that they put into that game is actually insane. Again, and it's on the fucking Switch.
It's just
like, it is on a toaster and it plays actually so well. It's insane. But given all that. Again, it is on the Switch, so Baldur's Gate.
It is on the Switch,
and then the replayability as well.
For that one. And then we could, but speaking of, since we were literally just talking about it, the next selection I believe is Best Game Direction.
Correct. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. And with that,
since we're really already talking about it, I'm probably just gonna let you know now is Zelda.
1,000%. It really deserves it.
Is an argument for other stuff, like Super Mario is always doing groundbreaking things. I don't know about you, man, but when I went from, because I didn't really play Mario games that much,
and that's why
Sunshine, and I enjoyed that.
That's why.
Immediately after, I played Mario Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that game was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that game, like not only from like the cool little fun stuff you can do in it, but it was gameplay wise, flipping the screen around, playing in 3D environments, like walking on planets for something, stars shooting through the world and jumping on, like it was the way they design Mario games are just fun to play on.
This is what I'm gonna.
I love the stuff they do.
This is what I'll say about Mario. I feel like Mario is Nintendo's Valve. It's their Half-Life. Whenever they want to like show off, like, because
Half-Life?
Yes. Why I say this is because Valve specifically says that they only release new Half-Lives whenever they have an innovation in the gaming prowess and like in the techno prowess. So that's why they waited to do Half-Life Alyx until VR came out, because they wanted to do the whole VR thing. Same with each game, they wanted to have some wild progression as far as it went to the actual game mechanics itself. And so that's why so that's what I mean with it when it comes to the Mario, because when it comes from Mario, from the Game Boy Advance to being like in color and all that, then it comes to from that to being Mario 3D, one of the first 3D games, Super Mario in
Paper
64.
Mario. Let's go.
Not Paper Mario yet.
No, Paper Mario was lit.
Yeah, the Paper Mario is lit, but the first 3D game is gonna be Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64. And yeah, so like I said, and then once it comes to like, and like I feel like they use Mario as like not just necessarily like it's just an experiment, but they use it to show like some of their more progressive game powers. So like then when they came out with what's the most recent with when you had Mario Odyssey and you have like a whole open world Mario game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's what I mean. Like, and then one that like also entwines like a whole real world and all. Like I said, like they do a lot of I feel like experimental things that you don't see like in their general formulas whenever they make a new Mario game. And then when it comes to like shit like Zelda, where they put all that into a more focused viewpoint and like they really hunker down on like the actual technical ability of like what they can make a game.
I 100% see what you're going there. I actually hadn't really thought about it like that, and you're kind of right when it comes down to the way that they design their Mario games. For me, I've always was like PlayStation's the Little Big Planet. To me, that was like synonymous with how I used to feel about Mario games. Like Little Big Planet is like a simple, small experience, but it's the way they create the maps, the areas that you get to play on, the way you interact with those maps, how you solve the puzzles, how you move on to the next stage. Like they feel so creative and fun, each and every one. And that's what that got me into Mario games. So for this one, I do think that it's still the same thing. Like it's creative, it's fun. They always try to do something a little bit different to keep people to want to come back for another Mario game. But I don't think it does enough, which is why I was like, nah, that can't be it.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. They're comparable. I'm not saying they are, because obviously Valve is just that them. But yeah, I just mean like how they.
Say it anyway.
Yeah, I feel it.
The reason I feel about the way the reason I mentioned Mario Galaxy because I felt like that was a really big leap. And then immediately after that, when we get Odyssey as the next like really big one that people like, that to me was another huge leap. But then this one was kind of forgetful for me. I didn't even. Yeah, it's kind of forgetful.
It's not really the actual mechanics. It's more so like they switch up the Mario formula in it, where like the the Wonder thing kind of gives it like a whole random switch where like the actual map itself comes to life versus like this So I get that aspect of it. I played a little bit of it. I'm like, okay, I get the little gimmick here, but it's essentially just another Super Mario Bros. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't get best game direction. But
it doesn't get it for me. Zelda gets that for me. Sorry to say, Spider-Man does quite literally less than the last few Spider-Mans did when it came down to gameplay.
I wouldn't say less because you get the introspection of
like 12 gadgets in the old games. In this one, you have 3.
I think it's because you have to sacrifice it for their like switching in of multiple players.
Yeah. But it still reduced my gameplay options.
Fair.
You had less.
And then let's not forget how many powers they give fucking Miles in this game now. So like I don't know.
Crazy powers. But here's my thing: with the old game, not only did we still have powers, we have more gadgets. Our suits gave us abilities too.
Yeah, that too.
That meant every single build you did had dang near infinite different possibilities.
And you could pretty much build how you want it.
Yeah, anything you want, how you want it. Of course, people had their specific stuff, and even if you go and look at it, people did have their specific stuff and didn't really change off of it. That's why they reduced the amount of gadgets and stuff we had, because people weren't really experimenting. They would just use what worked for them and move through the game.
Right.
They did that for a reason, probably for a good reason. It saved them on development time, 10 out of 10. But me, I like games. I like being creative with stuff. I like doing those things. They got rid of suit special abilities, and they just gave you kind of just more special abilities in the skill tree. And I was okay with that. But it took away some of that really, like the things that made me want to go and do the side quests that involve fighting.
Okay.
Like it made me want to go and tackle the stealth missions a different way in the first few games. Now I just really didn't have a reason to do it, and when I was doing it, I just used one of the gadgets that made it extremely easy, and I moved on. The game started feeling tedious for me because of the lack of options.
Right.
So I don't, for me personally, at least. So for me, that one just it did less for me than the other games did when it came down to gameplay and innovating at all, which I don't really think it did. And then beyond that, the story was 10 out of 10, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, 1,000%.
And
Yeah.
Baldur's
Baldur's Gate.
2, on the other hand, good too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think the switching between protagonists and like different story thing that was
Or like just
cool.
the fact that you can like change the world based on like how you word the story and everything, and like that changes the map and everything. And I was like, okay, that's some slick game design. Baldur's Gate unfortunately just does what Larian Studios does, which is always good, but it's not really any different.
It didn't feel like they broke the mold
Yeah.
in any sort of way. Because the game was so big, the entire gaming sphere decided to overreact to it. But if you were playing their previous games, you knew what to expect from this one. And everything they showed you felt like a leveled up version of things you had already done from before. And you were excited just for that.
Yep. It's like, it's just like
everybody else was like, what is this? Oh, y'all didn't know? Well, let me tell somebody.
Exactly.
I'm like, come on, bro. I'm sorry y'all didn't know what Divinity Original Sin was, but man,
It was beautiful.
we've been over here playing great video games for a while. Now they're giving it to you guys.
Welcome. I'm glad you get to enjoy.
Yes, welcome to the plan. Yes, this is how the Witcher people felt when Witcher 3 came.
They're like,
They were
oh, you
this
understand
game is
now.
immaculate. Yeah, but that game actually did push the fucking envelope from Witcher 2. That game actually did push some envelopes. But it took hella long for it to come out. Get video game design. It just completely shifted from 2 to 3. So they had a lot to go off.
Yeah, they had to do a lot.
But, geez, man, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So we agree on Zelda.
Yes, Zelda, 1,000%.
Okay, all right.
All right, and moving on to our next category, best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game.
What do you think for this one, bro? I'm gonna let you go.
Now, it's an issue. Okay, first off, we're gonna go with the weakest link for me, and that's gonna be Phantom Liberty. All right, because first off, you're not gonna put a fucking 2-3 hour DLC on on this list of fucking damn near 180 into like 60-hour games. Like, come on, no, get the fuck out of here. All right, Idris Elba cannot carry you that far. God damn. So we're gonna. I enjoyed the story, but again, 2 to 3 hours. I finished that in a night, and I was low key upset because I bought that instead of Alan Wake last week, and I was like, damn, I could have had a much longer and more enjoyable. Because I've already played Cyberpunk. Like, I'm not any of the people that like were like so harping on it when it first came out because I got it on PC.
Even then, you still had some bugginess.
No, 1,000%. But I got through that shit a few times, and I enjoyed the game and everything. And so now that it's at its like whole 2.0 stage, it was cool to like see what they've done with it since and everything. But at the same time, it was like I really got like a good nights or a day's worth out of that, and I've already uninstalled it. And it's just like, after I beat the main story, and like it was just upsetting because like they added a few little extra game mechanics to it, like the whole identity missions. Those were so were so fun.
The fact that you can overdrive your chip now.
Yes.
The extra abilities that you got, like
from
as you
with
the skill trees
with
and
the
stuff
relic
now.
and everything.
The whole relic
and
tree.
Then it also varies
okay.
on how you level up that skill, how to get to to unlock that. Like that actually made it so like using that skill in combat actually levels it up and all that. So they added some. But like I said, I got a good.
I did like but it just felt like additions to a game that we had already played.
Yeah, and like I said, so like once I got through those, I was just like, well, okay.
Now what?
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, well, uninstall
That's
again.
what I was saying. I refuse to actually like go through that again until I want to restart the entire game. Like when I just want to jump into it and like finally do my last storyline, which was supposed to be the Corpo one, and then just jump in and just redo the whole. And I'm like, until then, I'm probably just gonna have the exact same opinion, which is that, hey, look, cool, thank you. Everything around this DLC,
Mm.
10 out of 10. You boosted this game up, finally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
But
driving
also,
still sucks.
this story was like 3 hours long, and it
Yes.
only really applies if you plan on going through and finishing the whole story, because it does.
Yeah. And then also
Otherwise-
let's talk about that fucking ending, since we're gonna talk about best narrative as well.
Oh,
What
no,
the
come on, bro. You
fuck?
can't do it.
What
Spoilers,
the fuck?
bro.
I'm not even gonna spoil anything, but it is just a what the fuck ending that I felt like I got to it, because I was like, you know, it's crazy. I got to the end of the Phantom Liberty DLC, and I looked up like what the actual decision was, because you know you have to pretty much pick that, and like, because I get to that choice or whatever, and you're like, and I'm like, so what happens? And then I'm like, oh, so it's not even worth looking at. Okay, and I uninstalled the fucking game, because I was like, I don't, what the fuck would I want to see that? I don't care. I'm sorry. I was like, you put me through all this. You could have done so much with that. You could have put me. I could have been working for the president or some shit. I could have been some secret agent shit after that or whatever. And that's what they chose. I was like, hey, yo, fuck me, right? Just fuck me. That's essentially what it was. And I was like, okay, so I lose. I lose and I lose. Okay, everything is just I lose. Fuck this game.
The moment I saw Idris Elba was in it, I was, well, he obviously can't be in that story for long, and if he is, this story's probably gonna be short, because I know they had to pay out the butt to get that man.
Oh, bro, let's talk about those Idris fucking missions that you gotta wait 3 days in between each one just to fucking talk to him again.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh yeah, wait 3 days for him to contact you. He's like, y'all really trying to pad out this time with this DLC.
That's what I was saying. The DLC is obviously meant to be synonymous with the main storyline progression.
Yeah.
So for those people who are jumping in and on their last save before they finish the game, you don't have much to do still.
Yeah.
It's almost like they are telling you, hey, just replay this game. And I'm like, yeah, see, I wasn't really in the mood for that yet.
Exactly.
Also, like, the things you guys added, it's 10 out of 10. They do make me want to replay the game. But even then, I'm going to be honest, I played it twice already.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Critiques.
I played it a few times already, and so like I wasn't about to go on through the whole beginning phase, whatnot, just to, because like you said, with the whole new system and whatnot, it would be better to have actually been able to level that up, because I'm like confused at like how some of the stats like work with certain things now.
Yup.
And so
that's
I'm
the
like,
same thing I ran into.
And so since I have like so many skill points,
the first time they updated it.
and since I have so many skill points in cyberware, like I got all this good cyberware that I'm just tossing on at this point, and I'm like, maybe this is not even like working well, because like now it's like overloading. I couldn't even overload my chip for a while, because I was like, okay, so I don't even have enough in this. What the fuck am I doing? What is this?
That's definitely a thing. Like I remember when they first changed up how the stats work and some of the perk systems, and it was I think that was 2.0, or I just remember it being a really big update when it first came out. And everybody was saying, oh, this was going to be the one that was really going to bring people back in, and it did. It brought people. That was the one that brought people back in. It was right after that TV series, the TV show that came out,
Edge Runner,
and which was fucking amazing. By the way.
Yep, amazing.
And I was like, oh, okay. Cool, like it's a whole new thing. So I decided, I'll jump in, I'll play that. I get in, and it tells you to redo all your ability points, because they've redone everything, and you're gonna want to see what the new stuff is. They did that same thing in this one.
Yep.
And the moment you do it, do not just start clicking on the same stuff you had before. It
does not do what you think it does anymore. I'm like,
I was like, no.
I was like, I just like, so I had to like go back and like respec, and that's what I do love about at least, is they let you respec whenever. Now you can refund whatever points. So I'm like, okay, cool. Because I was lost as fuck most cases. Like, I just jumped back in at level fucking 70, because I had to be the highest level to do the whole Johnny storm the fucking castle bullshit. But yeah, so that's crossed out. All that to say, not winning best narrative.
Yeah, that one's not winning best narrative. But definitely, if you guys haven't played the game before, or you haven't played it more than once, it might be worth to just redo a whole thing.
Oh, 1,000%. If you never played it, it's definitely good to jump into now. Like, it's definitely the best time with Phantom Liberty. Like I said, the only thing I was upset with the Phantom Liberty, I mean, the biggest thing I'm upset is that they didn't expand on like those mechanics that they added, like the whole, like I said, the whole identity thing and whatnot. But for all in all, like as a whole, that game still 10 out of 10. I fuck with it.
But
9 out of 10.
as for best narrative, I'm still gonna give that to BG3. Alan Wake 2 is a very close second, but the reason I will probably never give one of these games best narrative, except for one like oh wow, how did they just come out of my mind? We were just talking about the game.
Control.
Yeah, Control. Except for one like Control, because it's standalone. Like you can really honestly just play that and get all that experience out of it, read all the stuff and try and enjoy it.
And the
But
story
even
is
that
immaculate,
game-
like the whole like, and I love the whole concepts of Control, of like the whole,
Mhm.
the
And
like the
even
way
in
that
that
they handle the
game-
universe.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That's gonna change. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say the last part. I'm just gonna say this part. Other than the fact that you do have to read a lot in order to fully digest what that story is, it is in and of itself still a really fun experience without it.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't need to be connected to anything, just because like
Yeah,
it's.
I'm not gonna tell you all about Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy. Yeah, honestly, to say Final Fantasy story is just the upsetting thing about it is just it's predictable. Like it's from the jump, you're like, okay, so it's him. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then like they try to play you the
my
whole
brother.
time.
No,
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And we all know it. And the sooner you figure it out, we can finally actually start playing the game. But hey, that's just BS. But that's the whole Final Fantasy thing. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, you know this stuff. You just move on from there.
Facts.
And I'm not giving it to Spider-Man either.
Yes.
It's not better than Alan Wake 2 or Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, it's a good story, but yeah, it's just more Spider-Man. Honestly, they just switched up some characters stuff, but like, yeah, it's still just another Spider-Man story.
Yeah, Harry Venom was crap, spoiled.
Yeah, you've been trying to talk about me.
Whoever Venom was, you know, whoever Venom was, guys, that guy was definitely different. You know, not normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Not normal.
So like it was good. It was like that. That's cool. They remixed some of that stuff, and then obviously the addition of Miles and everything. So it's good to see him in more media. But yeah, it's definitely Baldur's Gate 3 just because you really can put that story in it. And it's so much story to it. Like, oh my god. I mean, it's obviously because it builds off the Dungeons and Dragons lore and everything. So obviously it has so much to pull from. But yeah, it's so expansive and just like, I mean, obviously from any of their games, you pick up anything and like, that's a whole fucking, it's like Skyrim. You pick up anything, you got a whole fucking history behind it and whatnot. And then that can lead to, you pick up one random book and read it and then like read a fucking note, and that can lead to a whole list of side quests and shit. You go down the wrong area, you end up in a giant ass fight that you would have never been into. You can find like secret heading, like the way you talk to people in certain ways, and like depending on how you approach them, you can get different outcomes and shit. You can even like in the late game, you end up getting like new characters and all that still to your team without even realizing. Like it's insane. Like especially if it's one of those games you really have to kind of be really role playing in, because like you can't just be like watching and like try to let things go as it goes, because like it'll let you just put yourself in some bullshit, and like in a lot of cases you can really not have to go through some bullshit. So it's like for like the first like 2 chapters, the fucking nobody was fucking with me from the cult, because like they thought I was with them, and the whole time I'm just like, I'm playing both sides right now until I really can't. And like it really wasn't until it came to once you got to the second portion where you were needing the moon lanterns and had to free those elves from that section, this nigga is just crazy. So regardless, you either gotta fight for him or fight with him. So it's just like, oh fuck you. And so
they really string you down after Act 1. It's like, okay, hey, remember when you were able to play both sides? Not today.
Yeah. You're like, we know what you are. You're not just gonna keep playing games with us. It's like, okay. But
next thing, right? I believe that's best art direction.
Correct.
The subtext
for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. For this one, I'll let you start.
Now, we had some conversations about this previously, and it kind of did a bit to shift me a little bit. So I would like to highlight like pretty much just 3. And I'll start off by kicking out the one that would have been 4th. Legend of Zelda. It's a really beautiful game.
Yes.
I don't think its art direction or its art style or their art technique shifted anywhere from the first one.
1,000%.
It looks good. great colors. They added the new color scheme. Like 10 out of 10. I just don't think it really did enough for me to be like, oh yeah, this is a brand new art thing. It looks cool.
I will say it was cool to see a character age a little bit, you know, especially when it comes to like
definitely.
Link. You don't really usually get to see that character like actually progress. That nigga is usually he's a one and done, and then like it's some new Link or whatever in a different time, whatever. So it's interesting to actually see like some of a progression with that character a little bit, and like you actually see him grow more than like the typical aspect. And, you know, I felt a little more connected to the story in that sense with this one. Obviously since it's a direct continuation, but unlike what they usually do, which are like, you know, continuations, but, you know, generations later or whatever. So, you know, that's a cool aspect, I'll say, as far as the art direction for me, with like actually being able to see those characters develop.
Yeah, you're seeing them grow, change up a little bit. But it really just comes down to two. The third one is probably going to be a Life of P. It's third place out of these two. Out of these three. The next one was really hard. I couldn't figure out if I wanted to pick between Alan Wake 2 or Hi-Fi Rush. I want to really badly like pick Hi-Fi Rush, mainly because it is an art style. It pops off the screen. The characters are really fun and creative. They're bright with their colors. Like there's this one black guy with these green gauntlets with like teeth on them. I thought that was cool. Like it has a lot of its flair to it.
And it's different. It's not in the general. Yeah, it's like a comic book type
style. It's somewhat different. Yeah,
it's like a comic book style. It's one of those comic book style. Yeah, exactly. That's fair. That is fair.
But I gave it to Alan Wake 2, mainly because almost like with Control, I just like what they do with what you see on screen.
It's so thematic. It's crazy. It's like I would play this game in a theater. I will, and I feel like it would look fucking amazing.
Play this thing on a projector at midnight on the side of it.
Like imagine playing this game, especially with like this and Control. Like both of these, like feel like they should be played on theater fucking screens. Like the way that just how thematic they are.
Yeah,
the chapters,
it's just really good.
The fucking blends when like Alan's talking and whatnot, and they obviously took that from Control as well. Like I loved how that blended in from the originals, because before it was used to be like
Control in there.
Like those overtures, like those overlays and everything of like the characters speaking, and you get to like see them in distress and everything. But it's still so fucking good, especially with the color palettes that they use with like this dark black, red, and everything. Everything's like so dark, but it's still like it's not like overly shadowed where you just, I mean, obviously you can't see shit, because that's the whole point. You gotta have the flashlight. But like when it comes to like the actual colors and the from the actual lighting that you get, like the engine is so good. Seeing that shit in ray tracing is just insane.
Oh my god, even controlling ray tracing is ridiculous.
Oh my god.
I was like, how is my console doing this?
It's crazy.
Wow, everything's reflective. Literally, even the floor.
Seeing
reflects,
anything
man.
liquid, I'm just looking down like, oh my god, this is what is life? What is real? What is fake? Is everything cake?
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't have much to say really about when it comes down to art direction one, or even like the next one, which is best score in music. So it's just they're just these things. They're very like you really do have to like see it, and in some cases play it to really appreciate it. Like if you're just going straight off like artistic thing, you're probably gonna pick Hi-Fi because it looks different from the rest. If you're not including Mario being his creative, colorful self, then it's gonna be Hi-Fi just because what you see, right? That Alan Wake is realism. But when you're playing Alan Wake, the moment to moment, the time to time is like when you see when you see darkness lift up in the background, and all of a sudden there's people there standing still, speaking about something that happened a year ago, and you're like, is this? I mean, I guess I'll sit and watch.
Yeah, it's insane.
You just like things are popping up and disappearing. Like you throw out that flashlight and you start blasting on a homie, and the sparks are flying. And you just it's crazy, man. It's visually appealing, honestly, no matter how you want to slice it, and they do a lot with their creativity.
No, they do so good with the creativity of it, and like I said, for what it is, especially like I said, it's supposed to be a dark, gritty game, and for them like to have still like these popping scenes and colors and like transitions that just feel so thematic. does a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy, the character design and everything is always so over the top and wild. I can't like say I can't not mention them, because you know that they do what they do.
Oh yeah.
But as far as it goes with when it comes to I guess when if we're including the next category with best score in music, um, then yeah, it's between for me it's between like Legend of Zelda and Hi-Fi Rush.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because it's for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. Baldur's Gate is up there as well, but like, cause you know but it's just really like I don't want to say generic, but yeah, it's a generic like adventurer time game where you're just like running around doing shit. Like it's not really like the battle music is pretty cool and whatnot, but yeah, for Hi-Fi Rush, I mean, it's obvious why. That's literally one of the game mechanics. So as you play the game, the character, if you attack and move the character to the beat of the game, you up your combo and damage and everything. So
Hmm.
having that like actually built into the game mechanics and whatnot, I mean, I can't not include it. And then the soundtrack is pretty fire. So like, especially for like a original soundtrack for the game and everything, like it's a good time. It's especially like a rhythm game, a rhythm
Hmm.
adventure game. So like it's an interesting aspect, especially if we're going on at the score and music and obviously the color and everything as we said with the art direction. Legend of Zelda I give it to because geez, traversing around that world and like the different sound that like the original soundtrack for that game is so the composition that they did for that is so good. They composed that so well. Like you getting flung up into the fucking sky and like the sound and like effects and music they threw to that and like you falling back to earth and then even once you fall to the underground and everything it has a different tone and vibe to it and everything. For every area and traversal that you go to, you know, you've got like a different type of score or music going for you can, and you know, just I feel like it fits really well with like that theme, so that's why I put it up there
Yeah,
with it. But you
I
know,
feel you.
I got to give it to the little guy because you know, Hi-Fi Rush, like I said, it's really in tone with it as far as the music and score that it's literally part of the game mechanics. That I definitely will go with that one for me.
Yeah. I was actually stuck between both Zelda and Hi-Fi as well.
Hmm.
Hi-Fi gave me more of what I like from soundtracks, which is like just bumping lots of different tracks, plays at different moments. Like it's synonymous for me with what I get from like my Persona games that I enjoy. I like the fact that the music is just always there
Hmm.
and it's different and it's always bopping. But Zelda to me does it in a way, and I gave my vote to Zelda by the way.
Okay.
Zelda to me because I like the way their score and it really pops during good and powerful cinematic moments. It just when you hear the music, it just reminds me of the scenes that I was hearing the music in.
Right.
Powerful. It's just they do a good job at blending the two, having them be synonymous with one another, both those impactful story moments and the score. So I went with them on that one because I was like And this year, personally, for me, there weren't that many like crazy outstanding tracks. Like Baldur's Gate, like you said, it just feels it gave me like that medieval vibe, that medieval fantasy vibe, and
Hmm.
that's what I'm used to hearing. There wasn't anything that stuck with me.
Hmm.
Alan Wake is cool, and that's it.
Hmm.
Final Fantasy sounded like other Final Fantasies, and then still not as good as other Final Fantasies.
Okay.
Like I'd probably still go and listen to Final Fantasy 10, 12, 13, and 15 soundtrack before that. So it's just stuff, just my own personal decisions. I just went with Zelda on that one. I don't really
Understand.
know what else to say about it. I just felt it,
No, I feel that. That's fair.
and then I dealt it.
I mean, and then we're moving on to the next category. It's best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. Um, since they added Dead Space, I mean, assuming the remaster, and I mean the sound effects in that game are pretty decent. But I mean, if it's up there to with Alan Wake, then I mean that's essentially the same shit right there. Um, because it comes with like it's all about like hearing the scurrying in the darkness and all that, the moaning and
And
everything.
stomping on dead enemies.
Yeah, exactly. So like, that's cool. I don't even know why Spider-Man's up there for audio design. Like, it's I don't
It's the quips, bro.
I guess.
It's the Miles and Spider-Man quips, bro.
But I think I'm gonna go with Hi-Fi Rush in that because again, it's part of the game mechanics. So like,
Hey, I feel you. This is actually same. I gave it to Hi-Fi on this one because I felt like I kept passing him up in other ones,
Mm-hmm.
and then close because it was gonna be Alan Wake 2 because honestly, I just scared the shit out of me. You put those 3D audio headphones on and you're just like scared to go to the next level
A
sometimes,
thousand
my
percent.
dude.
I feel you. I feel you. That darkness and everything, and like hearing the scurrying, like okay, what's going on? Who's in the dark? Um,
Hmm.
but it's like I feel
I'm
like it's
sorry,
still
I'm not
different.
gonna put Resident Evil on this.
No,
I'm not
I
voting
don't
for
know why
Resident
Resident
Evil.
Evil. Yeah.
It was
So
there because it's similar. You know, it still has a strong sound effects around it. It tries to induce that fear. The only reason I didn't do it is because like, well, it's a remake.
that's also fair. And then moving right along to the next category, best performance awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and/or performance capture. Now I have changed my stance on this the last round because I did end up playing, obviously, Phantom Liberty after that. And before I was just like, yeah, just give it to Idris Elba because like it's Idris Elba. Like, come on. No, it was just Idris Elba. Like it's literally just him talking. Like it does nothing. Like the only reason why, not even the only reason, but one of the main reasons why, and this doesn't have anything to do with gaming at this point, that I don't view like celebrity actors coming into just voice acting and just like speaking over their lines. It's because I've heard fucking Robert Pattinson do his voice acting to this point and not sound like him in the fucking slightest. Have you heard his voice acting in the new Studio Ghibli movie?
Yeah, I heard some snippets.
Nigga. No idea. You would have no idea that was him. Like, I'm watching the trailer and I'm trying to figure out which character he is, and come to find out when they actually release the casting list, I'm like, oh, he's him? So yeah, I feel like there's no excuse for just regular actors coming in and just sounding, just being themselves essentially. It'd be cool, I guess, if he did some like motion cap or whatnot, but like, yeah, whatever. So
I feel like in video game design, it's almost like actors are typecasted as actors in video games. It's like it's 'cause it felt the same way with like Johnny was cool in Cyberpunk as well,
mm-hmm,
but it just felt like he was just playing a rocker dude,
mm-hmm,
which he kind of already is. He's just like, Keanu is just being Keanu on my video game,
yeah,
and it's lit,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
as I already knew it would be.
But
You
I
know,
like his performance. Like you get way more depth from his performance, at least with like
because he's just around.
Yeah, he's around way more.
Around
While
all
you
the
get
time.
Idris Elba for like 3 hours, like not even 3 hours. You get
He's
that
doing
nigga for
some
like
random side quests, and he's up here quipping the whole time,
Mhm.
talking shit behind your back,
Mhm.
roasting you.
Nigga just pop up roasting you like, oh boy, made a mess out of that one. I was like, nigga, what?
Like, he's like, come on, V, do it.
Mhm.
I gotta see this, V. Come on.
Oh, I
He's just
gotta
like,
fucking see this shit.
and then you don't do it, and he's like,
pussied out like I thought you would.
like sometimes you make this journey so boring, man. And he's like, I just, you got it. He's just around all the time, so he just gets to give you that energy all the time.
Mhm.
But I'm sorry, bro. Astarion, newborn, done. I don't care. Nobody else. BG3 all day.
That's fair. I understand. Neil Newborn is he honestly yeah, especially for what it is, a role playing game, because typically in those games people usually can just write it in and like they just get they'll just read off their lines. And you get really no emotion, but like especially when it comes to the fucking animation for his character and everything as well. I don't know if they did mod cap for that, but like his expressiveness and like the way how extra fucking Astarion is, that's honestly fair. Yeah, he does a great job, and then like I said, I don't know if it's due to them doing the mod cap or if they just animated on top of like his voice lines, but this dude is so like his character. Like I feel like he had to be standing there like acting out these scenes because like the how dramatic this thing is so hilarious. And he like I feel like almost every single line he has is just like he has the same exact energy on.
And there's like that argument as well, where I even saw this online. I couldn't argue with it because this happens to me sometimes, where the voice actor can be good, he can be great, but sometimes the character is just annoying,
Hmm.
and you're just like, I don't want to deal with it. There's a lot of people who just didn't want to deal with historians just talking all the time, so they didn't run them. There was a lot of people just like, oh, why would I vote for him? He was annoying. I saw some people playing the game and they took him off their lineup because they didn't want to hear him
Yeah,
anymore.
Astarion never left my team. That's crazy.
Me either. He was the boy. There's for me this is a big thing. Like I play a lot of games like these. I love CRPGs.
Hmm.
Um, in particular the Outcat games. Those ones they don't have as much voice acting. And this game is all voice acting. You
Everything.
don't really gotta read a
You
single
talk
thing unless you
to a
want to pick
fucking
up a book.
rat, and that rat you read his
A voice
thoughts,
lines,
and it
man.
has voice
They
lines. It's crazy.
like it's perfect. It makes the CR it. In my opinion, I'm very happy this game did blow up as big as it did because now when we get another CRPG, y'all better put voice acting in these boys because I'm tired of reading chapters and paragraphs of lore that this person could have been talking to me about. Sometimes it hits differently when you get to when the people are voice acted,
Hmm.
and I do like those games that do both, where sometimes things are voice acted, other times you have to feels that role playing essence for a lot of people. But so yeah, let me just get all my voice acting. Astarion all day. Anybody else, y'all are free to argue. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do somebody for Spider Man, by all means. You want to do what's her name, Melanie from Alan Wake 2, by all means. But for me, I'm gonna keep it on my boy Neil.
Understandable. Like I said, I gotta agree with you on that one. Now at this point, like I said, I had before, like I said, I already got paid my piece about Idris Elba, and like I said, it was only a 3 hour long story, and you were mostly waiting most of that time. So, um, yeah. Moving right along to innovation in accessibility, recognizing software and/or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. Um, I'm not big on accessibility with it because I guess I haven't had to deal with any issues, fortunately. But I feel like when it comes to accessibility, my biggest would probably be between Street Fighter and Spider-Man 2, because I do know with Street Fighter they've added the new controls versus the retro controls, where I guess it's like the combo system is more in line for you to be able to get those things off versus like it just being a single button push, though you actually still like get to include it in like through a combo and everything. It's just not that tilt system. And then also with Marvel Spider-Man is that like you can pretty much adjust all the accessibility skills, even when it comes to like looking at web swinging around the city. You can like turn the accessibility up and down, so like you can either make it so like you'll never bump into anything, like you can even never hit the ground, if you turn it up if you turn it up high enough, versus it being like so realistic that like you have to like place your camera to wherever you're like actually shooting at and everything. So like it like makes it so like if you want it to be a more realistic experience, it can be. Or you can really up that assist mode, and then even with like the combos and everything. I really can't speak on most of the other ones outside of that, though, as far as it comes for accessibility, though. So, um,
Yeah, for me the main thing was it's like pushing the medium forward, I think is what you said, and content to help games be played and enjoyed.
hmm
Um, sorry, Diablo 4, people are
really?
not enjoying you or playing you.
Oh yeah,
Goodbye.
fair, fair, fair.
Forza, people love Forza. I don't play Forza.
Mm-mm.
Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Hi-Fi is up there, Marvel's up there, and so is Mortal Kombat 1. But Mortal Kombat 1 didn't do enough. Street Fighter 6, it did enough.
Hmm.
It, in my opinion, Street Fighter 6 brought a lot of people back into fighting games, and then brought people who wouldn't play fighting games into
Hmm.
fighting games.
Especially Street
The
Fighter.
way that it, yeah, Street Fighter did that.
Hmm.
What it did with the uh default combat style and the new simplistic combat style,
Hmm.
which is like modern versus classic. I think it's C&M.
Hmm.
Those two just made the game far more accessible for people. There's things that you can't do when you're using modern, but it is what it is. People are enjoying it. There was a huge controversy about it. People were like, oh, which one's gonna be better? Does one of them does one make just the whole game easier? Is this OP? Is that OP? And now everybody's just like, we're just playing the game, and they like it. So I'm gonna give it to Street Fighter 6 on this one. I think they did enough not only for the Street Fighter like IP, but they did enough for fighting games to warrant this one. Hello? You here?
Sorry, I'm here.
Oh. I was like, oh shit, am I here? Did I die?
No. But yeah, no, I agree. So, yeah, for that, I mean, that's really all I have on that section, so we can move along to the next category. If you would.
Oh, I'm curious, actually. Did you play any of these?
No. So, unfortunately, we're probably going to skip games for Impact currently because
I played some of these though.
Oh, sorry. If you did, then go. This is all you, good sir.
All right,
let you take care.
Number one, Tachia. That was a PlayStation Plus game.
Okay.
Fun, pretty good. I enjoyed turning into animals and destroying the government. It was great. 10 out of 10.
Fantastic.
Goodbye Volcano High. Just as bad as the last one. I don't even know why they made this game. I'm sick and tired of seeing these things. Get this stuff out of here. A Space for the Unbound. Oh, by the way, let me actually go back to that. The Goodbye Volcano High. I'm saying get these things out of here, but I'm playing them anyways. Don't get mad at me. A Space for the Unbound. I thought that was pretty good. I'm not gonna give it the vote because I gave the vote to Tachia. Good story. It felt strong. But it had the anime vibe was a bit too much for me sometimes, and that's the best I can do to describe that. And that's Games for Impact.
Okay, Tachia. I'll take your word for it, but I believe you. Tachia, is it which one you? Yes, what you're going for? I mean, you say you take down the government, so that sounds.
You're not really taking down the government, but it feels like it.
Okay. All right, let's see, and then moving to the next category, we have Best Ongoing, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time.
That's you, bro.
Oh, you want to take it?
That's you.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah, I got you. I'm playing your music right now.
Honestly, it's crazy because I refuse to play it myself. But Fortnite is just insane, and it's I can't lie. These niggas know how to. These guys, excuse me, these guys know how to keep their game relevant. It's insane. They have damn near every movie that's come out in the past 10 years. These dudes are almost worse than Disney. It's crazy. They've gotten Marvel. They've gotten Marvel. They've gotten fucking anime. They've got Jujutsu Kaisen characters. They've got Transformers. Oh my god. This is a shooting game. This is a shooting game. They've got fucking basketball players in this shit. They got, and they can actually do, like, you can do Kamehamehas and shit, like, hollow purples, like, I don't understand, and this is the shooting game. Again, I don't know what's going on, but they've got live concerts. Like, they've got real performers that come and perform online concerts. The world, the map changes and everything are super cool and everything. I mean, that's no different from pretty much any other, Battle Royale. I don't know if Fortnite, started it or whatever, but it's no different today when it comes to that. But Jesus Christ, do they know how to keep some type of relevance when it comes to pop culture? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
It's pretty much between like Fortnite for me. It was between Fortnite, Final Fantasy, and Genshin Impact, and I pretty much had to go with Fortnite. Mainly because like the evolving the player experience over time part. Like Final Fantasy, it had its updates, and for a long period of time they were good, but I don't think it technically evolved anything in its MMO aspect. Like dungeons were still dungeons, the weapons were still weapons, you're still farming to get loot, so on and so forth. I don't think it really evolved much. The updates just gave you more story, right?
Facts.
And then with Genshin Impact, it updates like mother, and most of those updates are for banners and characters.
Sure.
And then you get one real big one, which gives you new like story progression and maybe open part of the map for you to do. And with that is when I say, okay, now that's when they start evolving and giving players more stuff, because their overworld is just full of puzzles and quests and stuff for you to do all the time. Every time they update and they add a new thing, it's riddled with puzzles and stuff for you to do in the open world to complete and get chests to unlock for stuff. They're everywhere. And with that, I'll give them that. They're a close second. Not actually, they're not a close second. They're far in the pack because Fortnite just obliterates everybody on this.
Because like the popularity alone just shows like it's still just the shooting game, and like just
and
by
at this point they don't even have to evolve the experience anymore. Their new update is called OG Fortnite.
Yeah, they've just brought back the original.
And people are like, "Oh man, you gotta get on for the OG. You can still do it with no building." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll get on." And I got on. And I was like, "I still can't do this, bro. I can't. I don't like any shooting game where everything else is more important than the shooting.
Than the actual shooting aspect.
The bloom in that game is ridiculous. If you hold down the shoot button with almost any gun that isn't like a blue or a purple, the bloom just slowly starts to expand. You know how many times I had like Fruce sit in front of me, and I shot at him, and then I hit him for a little bit, and then immediately I just can't hit him anymore. He's in the bloom radius, but where are the bullets going? I don't know, because the bloom is like half of his body at this point. Like, you can't shoot that way. You have to stop shooting, wait for the bloom to go back down, and then start shooting again. But I hate games like that. I like shooting games, not arcade shooting games.
I feel you.
But also at the same time, every time I get on there, I do something. Like blow up somebody on a car, or when they had like a little web sling, and I literally could just web sling through the entire map. I was like, that stuff was fun. Just drop shooting people is always going to be great. Jumping in the air and hitting somebody with a Kamehameha, getting jumped by like 3 people, and then floating on a Nimbus to run away. It's so much cool stuff you can do. So I gotta give it to him, even though I don't personally like the shooting in the game. It's still a fun game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't like the main mechanic of the game, but yeah, I understand.
I'm sorry, it's just not.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not a fun shooting game. That's why they focus on everything else. And that's why they focus on everything else.
Good shooting here. Oh, well, speaking of Destiny, that's in Best Community Support.
Correct. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity, and game updates and patches. And you know who's definitely not been in Best Community Support? Oh, you guessed it right. It's fucking Destiny. Get the fuck out of here. We're also going to get...
There are... Here, I'm just going to say for me, I'm getting rid of Destiny.
You still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting rid of Destiny and this one.
Wait, you cut out again once you said after Destiny.
Oh, no. I wonder why that's happening. Destiny and Final Fantasy.
There we go. Okay. Ooh, okay, yeah. Get them out of there. For sure. Cyberpunk, I mean, yeah, again, I'd love to say you did. I mean, obviously, updates, patches. You had a lot of them. But it took a while to get to where we are today. And that was after the emergency response of a whole year to actually get the game to a decently playable level on all released platforms.
I think they definitely hit it on the community support. They hit that one with probably an A, because they've always been vocal with the community about what they're doing. So I mean,
they had to at that point, because once they released a toaster of a game, of course everybody was in outrage. So yeah, now it's...
Hold on. Actually, I lied. I said of course. Not necessarily. They could have went the No Man's Sky route and never talked to you, and then just start releasing bangers after bangers after bangers. Like, No Man's Sky dropped a broken game.
2 years.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, they dropped a broken game, said nothing. Everybody thought they ran away with millions, and then just started dropping free updates for the next, 10 years now? Like, it's just, well, not really. I think it's been like 8 maybe, but it's just been free updates consistently popping every 3 times a year at this point? 4? Like, they're up there for me just because of what they've been doing with their updates and how those updates continuously add and change the game, and they don't go away. Like the missions that they bring out with the updates, which are like standalone missions that you get to do to unlock stuff for the update, and to really experience whatever that new update is. They make these cool little missions that you can do, and they if you're not dedicated to it, they last pretty much the whole update. Like the whole time it's up could take you to finish it.
Mhm.
And then beyond that, they just hey 10 out of 10, bro. They changing the game every time they update. I just don't think they get it over the fact that BG3 not only updates a game that they're not even going to be doing DLC for, they just are fixing stuff all the time.
Mhm.
And they're the most vocal with their community. They were gagging with the community about having relations with
Bears
bears.
and shit. Yeah, like they are
like,
very in the like
these
they
guys are in
in
there.
the community.
They don't from conversation with the community.
Facts. They're like, oh, yeah, you want to talk about the sex bear scene? Let's talk about the sex bear scene.
You want to talk about something broken that's pissing you off? Let's talk about it. We'll fix it. Promise.
So,
Mm-mm.
so who do you think who are you giving it to? No Man's or Bullet Escape?
Oh, it's BG. It's BG for that. No Man's Sky is a really close one, but I feel like they might have won this award already. I feel like there's almost no way they haven't with
Mm.
how they've been dropping banger with these updates. Like the gaming community acknowledged them for just doing the most a long time ago. So I feel like they've had to have won something for it already. And I'm not gonna give it for them for doing it still. You know? It's
Yeah.
like okay, at this point
Like,
this
I'm
is
glad
what
you're
you
still
guys are
keeping it
known
up,
for.
but let's see you doing it. That's you.
Yeah. At this point, this is what you're known for, and to some degree, people will still say, "Hey, this is what is deserved based on your launch." So I'm not gonna give it to you now.
Fair.
I think when BG3 has just come out and done the best.
Yeah, dropped it on a good state
even,
and is still keeping up to date and
they're fresh on the scene for real.
Mhm.
If you think about it, they're fresh on the AAA scene.
Facts.
Really, if you think about it, and people haven't really been giving them this much attention for this long, and they're still living up to it. Like they have I think it's a new edition coming out,
Mhm.
and they know that scalpers exist, and they've already come on the record and saying, "Yo, this is not limited edition. We made so much money, and we're not doing a DLC, so we can just keep making these limited editions for y'all." And that just ruins scalpers. They have no reason to scalp these because they'll just keep making them.
Yes.
So they're not limited editions. So y'all can't buy them and sell them off for like triple the price. Sorry, like that's to me that's good. Like people should be doing that. These multi-billion-dollar companies should be doing that, but they don't.
Mhm.
And look at this company, much smaller. They're doing it.
That's why they the best.
I'm giving it to BG3.
Fair. We'll move right along to our next category. Best and
He don't know what these are. It's Dredge.
okay, that's it. Best independent game of the year for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. It's Dredge. Black Salt Games, Team 17. And your reasoning, sir?
I'm gonna be honest. I have only played two of the ones on here. It's Cocoon and Dredge.
Mm-hmm.
I had far more fun with Dredge. The other games are probably really good too.
I've seen some gameplay for Dave
the
the Diver, and it's
yeah, people really did like that one. They really did. But like I said, I can only vote for what I played. So
fair.
Dredge, 10 out of freaking 10.
So I guess are you gonna give that also the best debut indie game or best debut game created by an independent studio?
I see that one's a bit more difficult. I don't know if it deserves that over Viewfinder. But I also, like I said, I didn't get to play Viewfinder. I feel like I have to give it to Dredge because it's the one that I played on this one, and I already said I'm not gonna give it to Cocoon.
Fair.
So I'm gonna have to go with Dredge on this one, but I don't know if it really deserves it. But
Versus
hey,
Viewfinder.
for me, it does now.
You got to check out more Viewfinder. Maybe before the end of the year, we'll give a redux.
And you already know what this one is, my buddy. He don't play these either, so we going Honkai Star Rail.
Oh,
let's go.
Yeah. Best mobile games. I'm no longer stuck in the rim with on the mobile games. I've got a PC now. I've got bigger and better things to do.
Yeah, best mobile games. It's just I think the description is probably just saying whatever the best game is on a mobile. But It's fun. Honkai Star Rail is very
No,
reminiscent of a Persona if you've played it.
I've heard a lot of people
Um,
talk about Honkai Star Rail, so I'm not even talking shit about it. I'm just not
yeah.
interested in mobile games myself. But
Okay, I'm just telling the audience
yeah.
why I'm giving it the vote. It's just a good mobile game. If
Mhm.
you like, if you, I like personally me, I like strategic RPGs. This game is both a gacha and a strategy RPG.
Mhm.
The only reason why I'm not saying it's just a gacha is because in this one, does not matter what your characters are, you can play through the game. Is it going to be hard if you have a bad character lineup? Yeah, but that just makes the game and not a gotcha. So it does something for you to some extent. The harder the game gets, by you not deciding to roll into that gotcha system, it just makes the game feel like a game and not a mobile game. You can jump on, beat some stuff, and then jump off in 10 minutes. You get on to do something.
Gotcha.
But other than that, the other games, I'm not giving a slight of pie. Like Final Fantasy, the Ever Crisis, I played Crisis Core a long time ago. Thanks, I guess. Hello
Yeah.
Kitty Island Adventure, I will never play that. That came out on PlayStation 2 a long time ago, and I didn't play it then either. Monster Hunter now, I mean, if you guys were into Pokemon Go, you might be into this, but it's going to take way more of your time. And then there's Terra Nil. Terra Nil's pretty good. That's it.
All right. So I guess we can move straight along to
Best VR and AR, I believe, is what the next one is, right?
for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform.
Now, in these, which is crazy, I did not play any of them as a VR, but I played one as an AR.
Which one is that?
I have played Humanity. I thought it was fun.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. I don't do Gran Turismo, and I don't even know what the other ones are. Have
I've
I even
checked out
called them out?
Synapse, and the Synapse is it's like a little wizard game almost. Get like a little different abilities in the palm of your hand type stuff. I'd probably give it to Resident Evil Village VR mode. I mean, it's just Resident Evil, but it's just VR. So you get all those motion codes looking over around the corners and all that. So
Yeah,
they
and
do a
Resident
good
Evil
job.
Village was also fun.
Yes, yes, good time. Looks great. I mean, Capcom just does a good job, great job. So um,
Now this one, I feel like we're gonna have a disagreement. So
ooh.
I'm really curious about this.
Best action game. For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat, I'm definitely giving it to Remnant 2. I feel like you're going in Armored Core, possibly.
Huh. Never mind. Yeah, we're both going Remnant too.
What did you think I was gonna pick?
I honestly thought you were gonna pick like Dead Island or I didn't know.
No,
And
no,
knowing
no,
you, you
no.
could have also picked Ghost Runner too.
Ghost Runner, I played the first Ghost Runner. That game is wild. Like that you want to talk about a fast-paced fucking game? Jesus
Yep, like
Christ!
I see, I knew it. I knew it. I was like, if he's playing Ghost Runner 2, there's a possibility that's gonna be up there too.
But I played the fuck out of Remnant 2, and those a lot of those bosses and missions are so fun to play, and like the mechanics and everything. As far as an action game, especially one that you play with friends, I definitely got to give it to Remnant 2. The Gunfire Games and Gearbox Publishing did that shit. Um, they
For me, it's that replayability again.
always that as
It's
well.
crazy.
The remix of maps and everything, just being able, there's different, like you won't get the same run through each time, so you got to go to the other people's worlds or start a fresh world to get to run
And
through
the
it.
secret stuff in the worlds on top of that
Yep.
that you could just easily miss if you don't even know about them.
Facts.
The specific like special bosses
Mhm.
that you can easily miss if you don't know about them.
Facts.
Is so good.
And they just dropped the
When you
DLC
start on
too,
the
so I
loadouts
got to
and
try to
builds.
play that too.
I saw that too. Isn't I think the DLC is the header for the photo.
I don't think it's her, because she was already in the game.
Is it the picture of the? Oh, yeah, then maybe not. I don't have the pictures. I only have the brief
Oh
description.
yeah, it's the night lady, lady of the night, whatever.
Yeah, never mind. I don't think that's the DLC stuff.
But then,
But yep.
but yeah, I definitely got to give it to Remnant since we're in agreement there. We can move right along to best action / adventure, the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. For this one, it's actually kind of a nice, tough little thing because if we're gonna add traversal and puzzle solving, I mean the traversals and Spider-Man, I mean the flipping around the city just feels so nice. But God damn, I talked about Legend of Zelda before. Jesus Christ, this game is so fucking big. Oh my god. Like, you literally need like several, like, I feel like in any of these games, you can pretty much just walk. Any of these other games, you can pretty much just walk across the entire map without issue. This game, you literally need multiple forms of transportation to actually be able to get across this entire map fully. Like, if you're gonna walk around different areas, like to get to the bottom area, you need to have a fucking vehicle or something to, or you know, I mean, obviously you can jump down with a parachute or whatever, but to how you getting back up, buddy? Like, it's all these different things. Like, just traversing around the actual overworld, like you got a whole section of the over islands you have to like build fucking different machines just to get to and everything. Like it's really like expands on traversal, like even traversing in certain cases are puzzles, because you have, just to get to certain areas, you literally are solving traversal puzzles to get to them. I'm not talking about just jumping puzzles, like you gotta jump to this area, then fucking jump through the ground in this area, then jump to this other island over here, then dive down through this fucking maze area to the underground area to unlock the sky area, to do the maze in the sky, to jump down to the ground area. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yes, play our game. Navigate. But yeah, that's a pretty much dead end winner right there. I know a lot of people were Survivor, even some people who said Spider-Man, but for me, it's still Zelda on that one. Just it does a lot for you. Like you said, you have to be prepared for each thing you run into in the open world. There's weather changes that you have to have the correct clothing for.
Literally.
There's navigation, and there's altitude changes that you have to have the correct items for. And it's a lot of it feels like what this award is supposed to be for, which is an adventure, and it has some action in it.
Like plenty of action that, like I said, like just it encompasses all those aspects of traversal, adventure, puzzle solving. Like I said, like just the maze missions alone to like unlock the whole maze areas where you go through a maze here, unlock the shrine here to unlock the actual entrance to the maze. Get to the maze, unlock that, just so it can unlock the maze underground, so you can get to that, to fight a boss in the underground, so you can light that whole area, so you can actually explore that area of the ground easier with some traversal items and everything, unlocking newer blueprints so you can easily traverse over the darkness and shit. Being, like you said, having to deal with nature and everything, the temperature that you're at, depending on if you're climbing a mountain in altitude and everything, how you're going to climb that mountain and everything, if it's a sheer thing, if you gotta make fucking costumes to have enough grip strength so you can like climb up shit. It's like it really adds like every aspect of like you're not just gonna be able to just run from one half of the map to the other without building something or making something in that sense, without making a huge hindrance on yourself. So it's really, I feel like encompasses all those so well, especially compared to everything else here.
Yeah, it is pretty much the winner by far. Now, here comes the fun stuff, bro. Best RPG, my friend.
For the best game design with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. I feel like it's also an easy one here when it comes to it with Baldur's Gate 3. Like, if you want to talk about rich character customization, Jesus Christ. Starfield, I played it. It's alright. It's really, I mean, it's another, like most people said, it's another Bethesda game. In all honesty, it doesn't even hold a candle to Elder Scrolls, in the slightest. It's when it comes to Skyrim, yeah, it's leagues back. I mean, obviously it looks amazing. The story is alright. And you know, the concept is cool, whatnot, but like, I feel like, I mean, obviously Skyrim was built on like so many years of sequels and whatnot at that point, but yeah, there's so many different options and choices when it comes to that, versus I feel like you're so, I mean, I did all the, like I'll say in Skyrim, I feel like there was so much more depth in like the stories and characters that I got to know in each one of those factions or whatnot, that I wanted to like hang around those different areas and go back and visit those people, and like the actual stories within them were so like intricate and whatnot, versus the missions that you do for each of the factions, which are only really like 3 or 4, I want to say, in Starfield, aside from like your main story mission guilds or whatnot. It adds a little replayability because you have to kind of like choose a side on each one or whatever, and you get to choose like how you want to go about certain things, but like it's really not that in depth. I feel like, as far as like a lot of the things that you go through, just so, like I said, as an example, in the Skyrim games or whatnot. It's cool, like you do still like just kind of run into certain things or whatnot in like certain different ways, just like this. But like I felt like in Skyrim it was just way more just different things, where you just run into like a random dog as you're leaving a village, or like talking to some regular beggar, or just running into some thief in the night. While in this one, I feel like every planet you went to, okay, you could possibly run into some pirates. Let's land on the planet, do a few little fetch quests, or regular you know adventure quest lines or whatnot. But I didn't feel like the storyline of many of the side quests that I did, they were really like stuck with me all like that. And then like I guess the replayability is all right. It's not really, because like it's one of those games where like you get to keep your level but you lose everything else. So everything you've built and like put up to is like all, you're in a whole new universe, so you just get them like, and I'm like, I don't really care. So yeah, and then like they've added some replayability where like you can get these random occurrences in like when you restart the world, where like things can be slightly different. Like you can restart the game and you come back to your home base, and instead of your friends, it's like it's like different versions of you through the different factions that you could have chosen on your playthrough. But they're like that specific person only. So like you have your policeman you, cowboy you, like all that little stuff or whatever. So it's like cool like that, but like outside of that, that's about it. But it's a decent game, but yeah, it doesn't really hit for, as far as, especially when it comes to like customization. I mean, you get to choose how you want to play your character, sure, but progression and everything, I don't know, it just doesn't hit the same for me, as far as, especially when it comes to like Baldur's Gate. Final Fantasy, like I said, there's a predictable how that character moves on, so I don't really have much to say about them. And Lies of P.
For me personally, I just feel like role playing should be about like playing the role to some degree. Like I just feel like in Final Fantasy, I don't really have any choices to make. He just makes them himself.
Facts. And then like and with Baldur's Gate 3, for instance, like I feel like my choice is like you get into that role playing aspect where you get to choose like what type of character you get to be. But when it comes to Starfield, like you have to be, I mean, you can be, I guess, like just some cutthroat person through the entire way through, but like it doesn't kind of make sense in the context in a lot of the cases. So like, for instance, one of the factions you have is you can either join the military essentially and be like a cop, or you can join the space pirates and be a bandit type shit. And those are pretty cut and clear dry. Like, okay, one is you either a cop or you're a bandit or whatnot, and then you get to choose but even in those situations, you just get to choose if you're completely abrasive or just a little bitch the whole time. But at the same time, I feel like it doesn't really add as in a whole as you're in the role playing aspect of who you're playing as the main character itself, versus, like I said, with Baldur's Gate, that all entails to your actual character story, but everything else just feels so disjected, because like I literally had a mission where like I was part of the system deck, and you get to choose to be part of them or the pirates, and the whole time I'm telling them I'm helping them out, arresting niggas and everything. We get to the final mission, and I choose the pirates, free everybody that we didn't arrested, and and then we take their base for our own. And everybody's like, I can't believe you. And like the only two people that are left alive are the commander and the people and the girl that was giving you missions. And they're like, we're disappointed in you, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, pirates out here, gang. And then you literally get to go to a different section of that sysdef whatnot, and they want to hire, like, you can join there and start doing the military again, and from them, and like they tell, and like they as you do those missions, you get up higher up or whatnot, and they tell you like, oh yeah, we know you were part of the SysDef team, and that something wild happened all of a sudden, and somehow you're one of the only people that survived it. But we don't care. And I'm like, okay, so my actions didn't affect the rest of the world here. Y'all really don't give a fuck that I completely betrayed the other faction in this military and directly destroyed and gave, like, I am a pirate still to this day. And y'all really don't give a fuck. All right, but versus Baldur's Gate, you start fucking with the faction, that's it. And so, like, I feel like it's way more inclusive in the actual role-playing customization and progression as far as the actual full gameplay goes versus, like, only versus the missions that you're playing.
Agreed.
And then Liza P. Liza P is a good story. And, like, you know, as far as you don't really get, I mean, you get customization as far as, like, your costume and everything. The progression is interesting in that one because it is about choice in that, but it's pretty much a cut and dry of if you are gonna lie or not. And that's pretty much about it. So it's like it's really two paths. But yeah, I gotta give it to Baldur's Gate on that one.
Like, how will you respond to Geppetto? There goes the extra ending. There you go, 10 out of 10.
You feel warmth. All right.
Not my thing.
Moving straight along to best fighting game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat.
I gave that one to Street Fighter. I do think Nickelodeon, like the Nickelodeon Brawl game, is pretty cool, but
I mean, it's just Smash, but Nickelodeon, so like, cool.
Yeah, I only gave it, and I gave it to Street Fighter pretty much for the exact same reasons that I gave it to Street Fighter before. You just opened up its access to so many more people.
Yeah, and like I said, it brought so many people to fighting games and everything. So obviously, I feel like that's a ring-a-ding-dinger. I'm with you on that.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
So we'll move straight along to best family game. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform.
I gave this one a party animal.
I was about to say the same thing, bro. Because I loved, what was the other game? What's that game similar to this?
It was another Party Animals.
It's not Party Animals. It's, we flayed it, bro. Hold on.
You mean Fall Guys?
Not Fall Guys. There's a Battle Royale version of it. There's another one. There's the, Hold on.
Let me think. No, because that's one of those. That's Move or Die. There's Among Us, but that's different too.
No.
You said it wasn't Fall Guys. It can't be Overcooked because you're like cooking in that game. Chicken Horse, is it?
No.
Or Gang Beast, maybe?
Gang Beast.
Oh, it's Gang Beast. Okay.
Yes. Gang Beast is essentially the same shit. Fall Guys was alright as well, but yeah, no, Gang Beast. That shit is always funny. But yeah, I definitely got to give it that. It's either Party Animals. I mean, Super Mario Bros. Is just like Super Mario Bros. Has always been. I haven't played Sonic Superstars, so I heard that might be alright.
Really? Okay. I
I
have to give that a chance myself.
So I might, because I think it's like a 4-player Sonic game. So like Mario, like all play it together at once, some shit. So I don't know how that works. But yeah, my vote is Party Animals.
Yeah, okay.
That's a game I could actually enjoy myself. So,
and some of these games I haven't even played, so.
Fair. All right, and then if you want to get the next category.
Which one was Best Sim and Strategy.
Best game focused on a real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform.
I wrote down a few notes about this one because I love sim games. I wish there were other things on this list, but yeah, it to be I guess the things that released this year.
Fair.
I'm not the biggest fan of the newest Fire Emblem game. I like Three Houses, but I didn't really like Engage that much. City Skylines launched Broken MF. Sorry. Um, and Advance Wars is a cool reboot. If you like the old Advance Wars games, you'll really like this one.
Okay.
But I gave it to Company of Heroes 3 because I kind of like that kind of strategy game a little bit more.
Okay.
And even though Advance Wars has been rebooted, it's good, it's fun. It is still for me a game I've played before. I didn't get a new experience from it, but Company of Heroes 3 felt good for me.
So no Pikmin, no Skylines 2. I've seen the.
I haven't played Pikmin, and City Skylines launched broken as fuck. Literally big broken. It's not even out on console yet because and the PC is still broken.
Jesus Christ. I had no clue. I don't know.
It's a big simulation, so I know it's not easy to code those types of games anyway. And this one's big. It's a big simulation. A lot of work going into it. If this game came out working at 90%, it would get my vote because it does so much. Like, you are literally building a city and keeping that boy running, from power plants to waste to energy management to internet access management. Like, you're monitoring everything, whether or not they have guns, public transportation, trains, subways. Like, everything is you, Mike.
Oh shit.
Everything. Okay. You changing the taxes out here.
Oh damn, yeah, nah.
Just so you can build more stuff.
Oh no.
And as you see the cities, like, I don't know if anyone, the cities are not just made. You make them.
Yeah.
You plot out the roads. You flatten the land. You bulk up the land if you want. Like, you're building. You do everything. You're choosing. If there's boroughs, you making those. You drawing the line. You got red line. You drawing the line. All you. It's pretty expensive. It just didn't. Too many broken features. Too many people saying their computers couldn't run it. Too many frame drops. Texture pop. The tools that you're supposed to use. It's just like creating walkways and streets are broken. It's just If these things aren't working, then the game's not the game yet. So can't give it to you.
Fair. All great points, and I'm giving it to the simulation master there. So we'll move on to the next one, which he's already informed me beforehand and handed me the money under the table to vote for as well, for the best sports and racing game, for the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game. I believe you wanted me to vote for Hot Wheels. Good sir. Will you release my family now?
Don't care what nobody's saying. This is like one of my first PC games. Roller Coaster Tycoon. It was building race car tracks my whole life out here, dog. It was making them boys out of wood, cardboard, broken boxes, bro. Hot Wheels.
So we're gonna give that straight up to Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 on Turbocharged.
You ain't giving it to the crew. The hell?
But don't you want to spend 10 hours in real life driving?
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. At one point in time, yes, I bought the crew one, and I literally was racing. Just me and Frucy were playing that game for hours. And what threw him off, which eventually is what threw me off, was we finally decided to go online and do a race because we had decent cars and we wanted to see like what we could do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The race was 2 hours long.
Jesus Christ.
In real time. It was a cross-country race starting in like Washington, D.C., going all the way down, all L.A., all the way up back to Washington, D.C. I was like, who said this was a good idea? Like, there were people literally just going backwards from the start. Like, the guy was in second place for a while, and it got to a point where the people in third and fourth place were across state lines, my dude. I was like, I don't even. Are they even feasibly able to catch up? I have to take a nap mid race.
You could literally nap in the race in the game.
And all it took was like one crazy accident. I think like people were probably racing, trying to bump into each other because Fruity was in it, and he was in like close. He said he was close to last place. There was a crazy accident. Everybody got bumbled up in it, and he was like, he ended up getting so far back, he just stopped racing and started going backwards, hoping to run into the people in first place and knock us out. Like, he was like, I just want to play bumper cars. Like, I'm gonna run backwards. I'm gonna just start hitting you. I'm like, oh my god, this man chose the demon way.
That's
He
hilarious.
couldn't get out.
Oh my god. Well, we'll keep it to that. Move on to the next category.
Oh, what do we have next? What do my notes say, big fella? It says we got best multiplayer coming. Sponsored by Discord.
For outstanding.
I wrote that down as a hint.
For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. And
this
I mean,
is hard, bro.
Is it? Is it really?
Man, look, bro. I really wanted to give this one to Party Animals.
Did you really?
But BG3 keeps doing it.
I'm like, I mean, yeah, compared to everything on that list right there, it just really wasn't. It wasn't really a contest there. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. Does what Super Mario Bros. Has been doing since the Wii U.
The beginning of time.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, with Super Mario Bros., that's why they put in multiplayer now, because you can play with like 4 people now on screen. And so I mean, but they've been doing that since Wii U days. So, Street Fighter.
Choices. Their console is pretty much a glorified Nintendo DS.
Tell them. So, but yeah, nobody's playing Diablo, unless you're a nerd. And then,
hey, first off, chill out, bro. I was playing that game day one, pre-ordered it just to get disappointed and never touch it again.
Yes.
So disappointed, bro.
Street Fighter. I mean, this is another fighting game. So, best multiplayer, Baldur's Gate 3, because I mean, it's Baldur's Gate 3, and just adding more people into your story, fun times.
Oh yeah, the multiplayer playthrough is gonna be really fun. And you get everybody like creates a role. You guys decide who you want, if you want to bring any of the companions with you or not, depending on how many people there are. Who you want to save, decision choices you want to make. Y'all can just honestly rock paper scissors and boys. It's really funny to ruin somebody else's stuff. Like I remember, I'm not gonna say this too loud because the boys are in the house. But when we were all playing, man, and they really did not want these birds on top of the roof to die.
The eagles.
May or may not have thrown a knife at them and started the aggro.
It's so easy to aggro them though, as well though. But you really just gotta walk into them like
everybody has
twice.
Speaking with animals. Every single person in our group has speaking with animals. I was like, yo, there's only one way. And it's if I create chaos.
Evil. I don't want to be good. I want to be evil.
Pretty much. In Divinity, when everybody, because they all, like, I played Divinity with them too, and they were like really into not doing anything bad. And I was like, bro, I'm a necromancer running body explosion. Like, I need dead bodies to blow people up. So I just, like, I remember we got to I forget what the first level is on there, but pretty much killed everybody in there, turned them all into dead bodies, moved them all to the center of the map, and then there's a cutscene where like this
the goblin encampment
main character shows up. No, this is Divinity I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then there's a part where like a very strong character shows up who like turns into a dragon and flies away. The moment the character turns into a dragon, I just blew up all the bodies. I was like, oh yeah, the guy on YouTube. When they walked into the city afterwards, they were pissed. They're like, where is everybody? I was like, remember that level up that we got?
I did that.
Yeah. They're like, bro, but the storyline. I was like, the storyline's gonna keep going. This character's just not gonna be there.
You really got rid of the dragon.
These characters, the main characters was there. You get them down to 0 HP, you get the experience. But they don't die; they just fly away. So like, they're still there, but like everybody else is gone. And I was like, we don't need.
You don't need these people.
We never come back here, bro.
Oh my god. Understandable. All right, so yeah.
But to move on, because we do have to hit the next one, which I think is best adaptation.
Yes, sir. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Okay, just to get it out the way, Super Mario Bros. Already doesn't have a story, so I mean, I guess that's just authentically adapting a video game to another. And all you had to do was, put Bowser in a castle, put Peach in another one. Okay, yeah, it wasn't really hard to miss the the points on that. Decent movie though. I'll give it to it. But now let's go to some of the more harder aspects with, let's see, Last of Us and Twisted Metal. Last of Us was surprisingly decent. They got the tone and everything set well. I didn't really care for that first season, so we'll see if that even gets another one. But Twisted Metal was an interesting adaptation. But you already know where it's going to.
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
All right, Project 51, Netflix has been going off. Castlevania, I mean, come on, these boys, they're even from the original series, the first Castlevania series, you know they were getting this. It's just, there's nothing to say there. Castlevania Nocturne, I mean, just the animation alone and style of the show itself is just crazy. Especially for a Castlevania game, because who's played a Castlevania game in recent years?
A lot of people
in recent years,
like those Castlevania
in recent years.
Well, yeah, now that I can't.
I'm not saying who's played, because yes, Castlevania is a well loved franchise. I'm not spitting no way near on that name when I'm just saying ain't when it came out that did any time any recently.
Got people throwing shade.
Yeah,
flame.
I don't want no problems.
No problems with you, devilish.
So
that's 10 out of 10. That game is, the games are okay. I haven't played them in a long time, but that the shows, even like, and this one's I think is Nocturne, the one that was on the list. Even the regular Castlevania show was 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
this one was still good.
Yep,
yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's great.
And it's like generations later as well, so like it's cool to see like they're really building on that lore, and I feel like that's a good adaptation of the actual story that the Castlevania games go through. So I feel like there's not much more that needs to be said, because our next category, I don't know if you've been waiting on, but it's our most anticipated game, recognizing an announced game that had demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward.
No, see, for this one for me is really interesting because I saw that it said that it had to push the gaming medium forward, and I was like, well, I don't really know what's gonna do that here.
Right.
Like maybe Hades 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and maybe Tekken, but I'm not quite sure because it hasn't come out. And unlike Street Fighter, they didn't do anything crazy like create two different ways of playing the game.
Facts. Star Wars Outlaws looks like it could be interesting just because of what the concept that they're going for. Like, you're not a Jedi or whatever, but at the same time, that could just make it boring given what we've had. So it'll be interesting to see how they make those game mechanics a little more interesting and whatnot. And the stray from the norm, I guess, but we'll see if that's worth anything. Like I said, I love the fuck out of Hades. So I'm only more.
Probably Hades.
I'm only just so excited for Hades 2. It's gonna. I know that game's gotta be amazing. Hopefully, Supergiant Games.
I went Star Wars Outlaws on this one. I'm highly excited for any Star Wars story that doesn't revolve around Jedi.
Understandable.
Those tend to be the best written ones, in my opinion. I love this. I like it. I love the side stories. Like, even when they came out with the Rogue Star Wars movie, I love that movie.
No, see, and I see that. I would love to watch it and everything, but when it comes to actually the gaming experience, I don't know. I think
it'll be good. It's not developed by any. Fortunately, at least, it's developed by Massive. So I'm expecting good gameplay, a feel-good gameplay is what I should say. The most important thing for this game in general for me is going to be its story, and I think for everybody, it's probably going to be a very narrative-heavy game.
Gotcha.
So as long as the shooting is good, the gameplay smooth, the story has to kick butt, and I don't think they're gonna disappoint us on that front. Not with how long this game has been. It's not going to get picked up by two different studios in the last 5 years if they're not pitching something wonderful.
Fair.
So I'm like, it has to be going. And I'm honestly, I've been excited for it since the first time I heard of it, and it keeps getting pushing back has increased my. So that's the main reason why I'm doing this.
Gotcha.
I want it.
Yeah, but like I said, I played the fuck out of Hades. What got me into the Dungeon Runner game
roguelike.
Yeah, that roguelike gaming had it like so deep like that. I've been playing fucking Dead Cells repeatedly now because I couldn't play Hades anymore.
Dead Cells is lit.
Oh my god, I love Dead Cells so much. I was streaming that the other day. So such a it's just one of those games that you could just sit back and just play for hours, just falling into the game.
Just love it.
Yeah, it's such a good time. And so Hades was, oh my god, such another good time because like it was one of those, and it's one of the first it's, I feel like it's what activated not only my roguelike interest but my my difficulty interest, because I used to not really care for like playing. I would just play a game at some regular normal difficulty just to get through the story or whatever. But ever since I played Hades and like got a taste of that like difficult, like fast-paced gameplay, like that's the difference. It could be difficult, but it can't be like a slow difficult where like now I gotta like dredge through like hours of fucking gameplay just to like actually get through the shit. I like it like if it's like where you up the difficulty and now like these things are like on your ass. It's like, okay, so where are we doing this shit then? Bet, let's go. So like
from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I really enjoy about Lies of P, because like, you know, you get further into their health bar and these niggas start like going crazy and you're like, okay, once you start like really getting into each other, it's like, bet we in here, because like those boss battles feel like real
parry system.
Yes, I understand. But with Hades, oh my god, like I was running through those maps and like at first it felt like almost so impossible as you're like leveling up the character and whatnot. But then like as it went on, like I was getting farther and farther, more and more each time and whatnot. And once you really like started making like it to like Hades on a regular or whatnot, you're like, oh yeah, I'm bad. And then that's when like you can start adding like the modifiers and shit. Like the first time beating Hades, because I beat him under my within like 100 turns, because like that's one of the things, like it keeps track of whatnot. So I remember I beat him before my 100th playthrough or whatever. And then after that, I was getting the Hades. It took me almost 100 tries before I actually beat Hades, and then once I actually beat Hades, from then on I was beating Hades through to like every other turn, every time I got back to him. And so that's when I was like updating the modifiers and shit, and then like it's so cool because not only do the modifiers add this, it's like the story never fucking ends, because you get there and like you get to the end and a spoiler alert, but you get to the end and it's not the end, nigga. You get there and you get sent back and they're like, yeah, nigga, do it again. You're like, excuse me? They're like, yeah, you had 5 seconds. You got your 5 seconds of freedom. Do it again. And I'm like, ain't no... Okay, I'll do it again, bitch. Watch me. Okay, watch me. I'll fucking do it again. I'll beat that nigga's ass again. Yeah. And again, you do that shit. I think you have to do it, I think, at least 3 or 4 times to actually get the legitimate ending. Like, not even get the legitimate ending, to get to start the ending, essentially. Because then after that, you still have you fixing shit to do and, like, meeting other people and, like, communicating with... It's a whole while before you get, like, the actual final full ending and whatnot. And then even past that, you can upgrade the modifiers. As you're upgrading the modifiers, it also updates the story. So, for instance, when you go to the first levels and you have to fight the... are they Gorgons or whatever? The sisters, usually you have to fight either or version of them. As you update the modifiers, they add more and more sisters to each fight. So you're fighting them and it's just one of them each time, and it's a different version as you level up the modifier. Then after you beat each of them, they start jumping you. Then now they got 2 of them fighting you at once. Then they've got all 3 of them. There's one where you're fighting all 4 of them at once, and like you gotta beat, and all 4 of them have their own health bar and shit, and like so they're all attacking at different times. It's wild. And then you move on, and like you have to fight the fucking the Minotaur and the fucking Asterion dude, and these niggas get fucking upgraded. First he has a spear and shit, and this dude has like his regular shit. Then all of a sudden he upgrades. He has a fucking self-driven chariot with a fucking magic spear and shit, and the Minotaur has a cyborg suit and shit, and you're just like, hey, when do I get this shit? And so like they even start talking up shit like, okay, yeah, and because you were doing all this wild shit before, now I'm getting upgraded to all this other shit. So like it ups the story more, so it just makes you want to play more and shit. And then like obviously upgrading like the hardest fucking boss on that game is the fucking shopkeeper. Twist. You can fight the shopkeeper depending on how far you get, and Charon is not to be fucked with. Okay.
He said, "Leave my treasure alone."
So yeah, I am excited for Hades 2. I'm hoping it's gonna be just as fun because, like I said, that awakened my competitive gameplay aspect of why I want to like, and that's what made me start playing like all the Dark Souls games and whatnot. Because I was like, you know what, I want a challenge now. This game has broken me.
I need to mount every obstacle, all of them.
So
And
yeah.
those games are fucking good. That's what they're for.
So
Feeling that pain with victory.
all right, I don't really have anything on the content creator of the year because I don't watch any of these people.
Yeah,
so...
I didn't even write that. It just says content creator of the year. Skip.
Yeah. So we're gonna move past that to best esports game for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of the genre or platform. I'll let you take it away, buddy.
Okay, here's my thing. Counter-Strike 2, not the biggest guy on that one. Dota 2, I don't really play Dota. League of Legends is cool, but even I know League of Legends is slowly starting to fall off. And also, I'm not playing.
I mean, it's lasted so long.
Yeah, but even then, it's that game in and of itself, League itself, I'm just not quite sure. When the MMO pops off, maybe it'll start bringing in those numbers again, and people will really start paying attention to esports. But I haven't paid attention to esports in a long time. Valorant to me is what got my vote. I think that's just like the next up and coming thing. It's another Rise game franchise. It's gonna be around for a while too, and streamers fucking love it. Oh, you gone? Did you fall apart, Brent?
One second.
Oh. This nigga disappeared. Oh.
I had to grab a drink. I was trying to hurry up and grab a drink before you finished talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow. That's funny. People are messing. They're like, "Oh, you getting on yet?" But yeah, Valorant is.
We're almost done.
Valorant has to get that one. Valorant has to get that vote. Valorant's good. It's just a really fun game. There's not much about it that I don't personally like, but when it comes down to as being like the best esports game, it's just fun to watch. It's the only esport I've watched really this year. Like actually no, that's a lie. I watched some Overwatch, but I don't think Overwatch League is a thing anymore, so it doesn't count.
Fair.
But Valorant, it's just really fun to watch. I like watching these high. Sometimes I don't even know when people die, bro. They don't even know what shot them. Like people just fall out sometimes. Like it'd be crazy. They be throwing abilities out, and people just it's just stuff be happening. It'd be like plasma walls that you can't walk past, but you can shoot through, and people getting it's just crazy. People be getting gatted on in that game. But it's just fun to watch, and I don't have as much fun watching any of the other games on this list. And I've tried when I had to start doing this, and I just didn't have as much fun, especially League. I'd rather just play it.
Understandable. And that's why we're probably going to be skipping the next few, the last few categories, because those are all just esports, and
I don't know if you're the teams and the players,
and the coaches,
and stuff, yeah.
And we're not the competitive gaming watching sorts. So yeah, I think that about wraps up our votes for the Game of the Year awards. If you have anything to add on top of that, the 2023 nominees really out came to play. I mean, Baldur's Gate really did kind of take a good couple of the overall W's, but I mean, it was definitely worth it. But all in all, I want to say it was a pretty good year for gaming in general. Definitely looking forward to next year to see what's coming out. Some of the DLCs for some of these games, actually. Because we got some DLCs for Elden Ring that we're getting. Like I said, I still have to play the Remnant 2 DLC. See if that's hitting about.
Oh yeah, Remnant's gonna. I feel like a lot of these games that are they're gonna be getting updates through next year are really gonna be the ones to shine.
Yep.
Because I don't know what else is coming out. I really don't. Like this year was most of the stuff we have been waiting for a while, and the things that we knew were coming.
Yep.
Everything else after this are like the big things that we were told about that aren't coming anytime soon.
Right.
So we're gonna get like some surprise drops. We're gonna get a lot of stuff that might have been in the works a long time ago. Like, yeah, you'll get your Pirate Ubisoft game finally, guys. But
does Wukong drop next year?
Don't know. I think Luke. I think it does, but even then, like, who
That's
the
probably
hell
gonna be
knows at this
pushed back.
point?
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely probably
Who
gonna be pushed
knows?
back. Yeah, especially given how some of these games that are just now getting to their prime now after dropping a year or two ago. So, but yeah, um, that's pretty much our takes on the Game Awards and our thoughts for now. Given the current nominees for 2023, we definitely wish them luck. I know I'll be streaming the Game Awards on that Thursday, so just
I'll
probably
be
chilling.
watching, bro.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. So, outside of that, unless you have anything to add, I think we're all set for
Oh
today.
yeah, of course. Main thing I have to add is we'll see you guys in the next episode. And the second main thing I have, all my votes don't win. This shit is rigged, bro. Straight up rigged. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like every time I said BG3, they should be getting it.
No,
If they
honestly,
don't, it's BS, bro.
facts.
It's straight up Twitter fan life shit. Like, that don't make no sense. Like I don't understand. BG3 should win everything. To be quite honest, it should be. It should win esports team of the year, bro.
Yeah, if I could
Their
vote for
team should
Baldur's
win
Gate 3,
esports
it
team
would
of the
definitely
year.
win best esports athlete, best esports team, best esports coach, best esports event.
It
Because
should all just be fucking BG3.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode. We'll be back again next week. Wherever podcasts are available, so catch us out at the Geeked Out Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and Anchor.